Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Where it's a weekend, we're relaxing. I hope everyone's having a good time. We're relaxing, I was going to say chillaxing by the pool. It's not necessarily true, I suppose, but, you know, so be it. Life is for existing. Wait, not existing, living. It's very much counter to whatever I was saying yesterday. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about today. So let's vibe out until we find a conversational foothold, I suppose, to go off of. Anything go on in our Slash games? What's going on in the gameosphere? Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 12:20 PM on Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. Interesting. What's going on? Certainly some interesting things. I don't know. I did see Northern Lightning. He was playing a puzzle game, which looked kind of interesting. I can't remember what it's called, but I did wishlist it. And I did try to get one of those giveaway keys or something like that. But essentially, what I don't actually know what game it was, but I looked at it and it was like it's got like Witness-esque sort of puzzles, but it looks to be like a multiplayer sort of puzzle game. And I don't think it's actually multiplayer. It looks like a mass multiplayer. Instead of it being an MMORPG, it's an MMO puzzle game, which is a very interesting concept. I don't know how. I didn't stop around to see how much interaction there were between people because, you know, it's a thing about puzzle games. You gotta like watch enough to be like, yeah, I'm interested in this game, but then you can't watch anymore because if you watch anymore, you're gonna like ruin the puzzles for yourself. Now that may vary from person to person. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, it depends on how much time you spend between playing the game and not playing the game. Like, if I just watched more of a Northern Lions thing, I would probably remember some of the puzzles. And that would, you know, dampen the experience, I think, of playing a puzzle game. But if I didn't play it for, like, 4 years, then probably I would forget most of them, I would say. You know, despite the fact I say I have a good memory, I feel like, you know, I don't have quite the I don't have like a eidetic memory of memorizing the minutiae of exact answers to levels. But I think it is conceivable if there was a level with like an interesting twist or something, I would remember it. So yeah, I don't really know what I was going from there. Just what I'd like to tell you. There's also Escape Simulator, which my friend wants me to play after he watched Northern Lion play. I'm not necessarily sure the motivation. I guess just to see if I would do it better than him. And honestly, Escape Simulator's been out for ages, and it seemed like a pretty cool game. I'm not entirely sold if it's the sort of puzzle game, but I'm like, yeah, I would love this. But maybe I would. I genuinely don't know. Or at least add it to my wish list. So maybe I'll pick it up at some point. And I'll join the list of games which I'll never play because that list is like 40 games long right now. But yeah, I mean, he was having like a key giveaway, I suppose, in chat. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really tend to participate in these sort of giveaway-esque things. I think, I'm not going to say there's any like deficit to actually participating in them in the first place. But for some reason in my brain, it feels like there is. Like, hold on, well, we're going to draw the line from what is a reasonable take to what is an insane, well, not insane take, this doesn't go that far, but to a clearly unfounded take. Giveaways, you know, give away something for free. Yes, true. Not many people get something. Also true. The odds of me getting something are very low. Very true as well. And then here becomes the insane part, which doesn't make sense. So in my brain, I'm like, the odds of me getting something is very low. Thus, it's no longer worth the effort to try and even enter a giveaway. Doesn't make sense. Literally, like, unless it's a huge amount of work to enter the giveaway. But if it's like clicking a button, signing up for email, that sort of thing, there's not really much of a loss of joining, I suppose. I mean, obviously, I know it's a sort of like mutually beneficially sort of thing, you know, for you and the company. For you have a small tiny chance of winning something, and then for the company they like drive up engagement and interest in this sort of thing. Maybe some people will still get hooked on their services afterwards, even if they do lose out on the giveaway, something like that. I don't know, I'm not here to dive into the moral ethics, I suppose, of business. But it was something I think about recently, because some of my friends, they like enter giveaway things and stuff like that, and I can't, like, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. For inside my brain, I'm like, what a waste of time. But then I think about it more, and I'm like, it's not actually a waste of time. It's like, what are they doing? Like, they're going to do something anyway that we're going to do and then enter a competition. Or they're just going to, like, sign up with an email or something like that. Why am I being so judgmental about this thing? It made me reflect on myself, which, if you watch these videos, unsurprisingly, I do a lot. Probably within these videos themselves. But, it made myself question. I'm like, hold up, you know, this is not a good take. dear darling? You know, why do you have this take? And then, you know, dissecting it more. And I think it's taking the logical extreme, I suppose, of a statistical mindset, this mathematical statistical mindset that I have. Yes, well, it's true that it's unlikely for you to win anything in a giveaway. It's probably like 1 in a million chance. You're basically entering a huge lottery, etc., etc. That doesn't mean it's like an unreasonable thing to do. They don't have to be mutually exclusive things, or some like a logical decision and a low chance of something happening. It's not like people are going in being like, I'm gonna win, you know. It's sort of literally a situation where there is no harm, no foul, kind of like. You do it, and then either you win or you don't, but like there's not really much of a, as long as you didn't like pay, I suppose, to enter the sweepstakes, and there's not really much point. I do have this memory from ages ago when I was much younger. 2 memories, I think, which I spoke about now. I spoke about before, but essentially there was one. The first one was me trying to enter a sweepstakes when I was younger. I can't even remember what it was. I remember it was just an advert on like Cartoon Network or something, or I don't know, whatever, Boomerang. I was just trying to remember. I was like, what was that channel which had all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons on? Boomerang, which probably doesn't exist anymore, but it was basically like a Scooby-Doo advert where it was just like, you know, it showed a clip of Scooby-Doo of like an episode I seen or whatever, and then it's just like, what happens next? Call in, you know, and say your answer, and you might have a chance to win. I don't even remember what you had a chance to win, and I was like 4, I think. For some reason, I was like, yes, this is my time. I can do it. I can enter. I'd never used a phone before because I was 4, to be perfectly fair. And I remember the clip for some reason. But it was like Scooby and Shaggy, they like jumped onto like a piece of ice or something, and it was like, what happens next? And I knew the answer. It was Scooby uses his tail like a sword to cut out like a ice raft or island or whatever to like float across them and escape whatever pursuer they're running away from. And for some reason I was like, this is time for me to call. So like I took a number, I like went on like our landline phone, I called it, and I just like remember it ringing and ringing and ringing, and then like I can't even remember what happened then. Like maybe it was like an automated machine, or maybe it was like actually someone on the other side, and I just like immediately hung up because I was just like, what am I doing? Or it was either that happened or like nothing ended up. Like it never like connected through. Maybe I like typed a number wrong or something, or I didn't actually know how to use a phone, and I just hung up and just internally had a panic of being like, what am I doing? As if it's like some tragic sin to try and enter a sweepstake competition. Of course, probably I should have asked like my parents or something at that point. You know, parental permission is probably kind of important when you're 4 years old. I'm going to be perfectly honest, but it's not like you make the most cognizant choices at that age. But well, that makes it seem like you're not a sapient being when you're 4. So it's not really what I meant. But it's not like you make the most well-informed choices, shall we say, at that age. But that's what I remember. The second one I remember is a lot more people probably remember this one. It was like this whole Cartoon Network show where basically if you won the sweepstakes, you would get like a truck would come to your house and deliver you literally a truckload of toys, like a full like lorry full of all the latest toys and that sort of thing. And you signed up, you got like a membership card by signing up on the Cartoon Network website, and then there would like throughout the show there would be like codes running along the bottom being like, oh, this is like the sweepstakes you can enter, and that's sort of like you have a chance of winning if your membership ID appears here, and that sort of thing. And then at the end they would have like a huge ticker board which rolls over and be like, this is the grand winner, if you call in now you'll get your prize or whatever. And I always wanted to be that winner, so I would enter. But the thing is, I remember at the time it always aired at like Saturday 10 a.m. It was like a Saturday morning breakfast sort of cartoon, and I don't mean the comic strip. And the thing is, at that time I always had like Chinese school on Saturday mornings to like learn Mandarin Chinese, which I also thought not like that every kid did, but I thought it was like, oh, every kid goes to like a language school on the weekend in the mornings or something like that. So I always thought like, how does anyone manage to watch a show and enter the sweepstakes if they like actually call in if they win? Because, you know, it's like Saturday morning, that's like school time. So I remember one of the days I was watching it, and then we had to go to like Chinese school or whatever, and I asked my dad, and I was like, hey, can you like wait for the end of the episode? There'll be like this board which displays a number, and if it shows your number, then like you gotta call in and be like, yeah, we won. And then I think my poor father did not understand the instruction properly, and he was basically writing down every single code that came across the bottom of the screen just to see if it like matched a membership card. And you know, I didn't even appear at that point, but at that point I was just like, oh no, that's not what you had to do. But it was also honestly a very sweet sort of moment. I think that sort of devotion, can you imagine just like being like, your child asks you, hey, can you like watch this show, like it was like an hour long show or half an hour, I don't even necessarily know, and write down basically every single code that comes across it for the next half an hour or something. That's devotion as parenthood right there. Shout out to my father. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with this. Anyway, sweepstake draws. I don't think I've ever won like a prize draw competition, like a sweepstake sort of thing. But I think it's probably like a sort of there's a bias, a sampling bias, the fact that I don't enter them in the first place. I don't know if any of my friends have. Like, well, I guess the sort of like the question which evolves from here, you know, that can be for you, for my friends, or anyone who's watching really, is like, what is the coolest, biggest, most expensive, etc., the most meaningful prize you won from like a sweepstake competition, you know? I'm trying to think. Like, I really haven't, I don't think I've entered like any that I can think of. Have I? I mean, I've entered like raffles before. I don't know why I was going to hit some rocks. Do we even have Nook missions for it? I did not even pay attention to it. Oh, okay, snowflakes, chop wood, seashells. Okay, can do. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've entered raffles before. I remember one of the raffles we entered. I don't even remember. I think it was for my mother's like workplace event or something. And then like you could choose from a load of prizes. Both me and my sister won, which was crazy. And I chose like a red pig plushie because classic me, and always got to choose a soft cuddly toy. Don't know where it is now, by the way, but it exists somewhere within the space between worlds. I remember a raffle that we also had in primary school, like during a Christmas fair, which is basically an event put on by the school to like raise money for charity or something. And one of the things was like a raffle, and like I bought like 20 tickets or something for, I can't remember, it was probably like £5 or something for a raffle thing, and I was like, all right, you know, let's do it. And then I did 20 draws, and I literally won nothing. The mother who was running the store actually felt bad for me. It was like, okay, come on, why don't you reach in there and like pull out a ticket? Anything which ends with 5 or 0 is a winner. And I reached and I pull it out, and you want to guess the prize I won? The prize I won was literally like a bundle of like 8 rubber ducks. It was such a weird prize. I remember being very disappointed with it at the time, to be perfectly honest. But then, you know, looking back on it, it's a very funny sort of thing. Like, I don't even know why that's a prize. What sort of person enters a thing and is like, you know what, I want 8 rubber ducks. Honestly, now maybe I'd be kind of ecstatic for it. I'd find it hilarious or something. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a sweepstakes thing I won. Do you remember that story of like that Japanese man who was like on a reality TV show or something? And it was basically like the only way he was allowed to like win or make money with things or something was via winning sweepstakes. Okay, I guess we'll go clear out our inventory, then we'll continue. Well, we had to sell more things. Okay, hold on. What are we not going to sell? Just drop these items for now. I should not have put them on the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, it was like a thing where he was basically like locked in an apartment. Not locked, but like isolated in an apartment for like a year or something. And the challenge was basically, can he survive just by entering into like magazine sweepstake draws and that sort of thing. And it's crazy. It was probably like a really good video that I watched about it or something. It was actually like I'm not gonna say psychopathic, but what's a word? Inhumane. Like as an experiment. Like I understand the draw, I suppose, of like reality TV for making it like an interesting concept, but he was basically literally isolated from humans, full stop, for like a year or something, which does irreparable damage to your psyche, I think, as a social species, you know. So it was crazy. It was like also like for the first like 2 weeks or something. He literally like the only thing he had access to was like water from his apartment tap or something like that. I honestly can't remember. Oh, okay, sell fruits. We can do that. Well, right here. And like he didn't win anything for like first week or so until like the first thing he won was like a bag of rice or something, and he was like so ecstatic, and he just lived off rice for ages. It's a sort of thing where it's like fascinating in some sense, but also you look at it, it's fascinating I suppose because of how cruel it is. You sort of like look at it and be like, there's no way that like this happened in real life. I mean, it did happen in real life, and you're like, what? It's crazy. Anyway, I don't know if those magazine sort of sweepstake things exist anymore. Like, do people actually buy magazines much anymore? But to a certain extent, I'm sure. Like, I'm trying to think, if I was to buy a magazine, what would I buy? It'd be like a fashion catalogue, maybe. In fact, that's probably the last magazine I picked up. It wasn't one I even picked up. It's like a catalogue. It was like some store, I don't even remember what store it was, which was just sort of like giving them out. Not like we were giving them out, but it was like a sample of like their latest line or something. And I took one of them because I was like, oh, this actually has like, maybe this could be like a good sort of fashion inspiration thing. I don't know if they're that common nowadays. I feel like they're more common in Japan, certainly, which is probably why that entire basis of that show could exist in the first place. But I don't remember the last time I even looked at like the magazine section of a store. I know they definitely exist. I passed by them a couple of times, but their existence is not something I can think of off the top of my head. Last time I read one. I don't even know the last time I bought a magazine. I don't know last time I've seen anyone buy a magazine, to be perfectly honest. What magazine's even popular nowadays? Time magazine? Isn't GQ like a magazine that comes to mind? I don't know, I guess with a digital age, everything's sort of moving online now. To be perfectly honest, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. If anything, I guess that gives more reach, if anything, without the need for physical publishing. Times change, so quickly. Ugh. So yeah, sweepstakes. I can't remember. Like, I can't think of a sweepstakes I've entered. Have I really never entered a sweepstake competition before? Really? I feel like maybe that's not surprising. Maybe you listen to that show and be like, absolutely, you wouldn't. I mean, I understand at least the justification I have in my head of being like, such a small chance of winning. I'm not willing to exert the effort for like a 1 in a billion chance or something of winning. That's fair enough. But I think the thing that made me self-evaluate myself is like, why do I have this like weird subconscious idea for something in my head where I'm just like, there is a 0 point, like why would anyone do that? And I'm like, obviously if no one did it, then you should just enter all the competitions because you would literally be the only entrant, so then you would like always win every time. Like, that's not a point. It's like a very harmless thing. I think harmless thing at the end of the day. Maybe there's some time ties with like gambling addiction or something in there, in which case I don't want to like I take to age incredibly poorly, because if the honest answer is I don't know. I don't know if there's any links there necessarily. I feel like it's for some reason like a layer detached from it. Maybe because the sweepstakes like don't have a cost in the first place. It's sort of like a whatever. But people do win them, so it's not like it's a fruitless effort, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. They're not like scam. Well, I mean, they might be scams, but I'm not aware of them being scams, is what I should say. So to treat them as such, I think, is a bit of a dismissive way to approach things. No, I don't know. Maybe you don't think so. That's fair. Yeah, no, I don't know. Do I have anything else to say sort of conversation-y from this? Anything that branches out? Anything that goes like, whoa, that's pretty cray-cray? Not what I can think of, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. Yeah, sorry, I'm just like looking over at my other monitor while I'm trying to do this at the same time, which is why I'm not navigating my own island very well. Yeah, do we do our missions? Did we catch 3 snowflakes? We did, and we can customize 2 things. Okay, let's go do that, and then we'll round this episode off here. I found it kind of surprising that I've never entered a sweepstake competition before, but I genuinely cannot think of one I've ever entered. I don't know. I feel like I've always seen them on like the back of cereal boxes and things like that, and I always wanted to when I was younger, but I just never did. Like, I don't know. Maybe something was instilled to me when I was younger, where I was like, "There's no point in doing them," and thus younger me took that to mean, "Oh, you are like not allowed to do them or something." I always felt like I had very strange wants and desires when I was younger for seemingly like mundane and normal things. You know, and entering a sweepstake competition on the back of a cereal box seems like something I wanted to do when I was younger, and I just like, I don't know. I never got to, I guess. Nowadays, there's not really much more desire behind that anymore, but I suppose it's more of a moment, if anything. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode off here because I don't know what I'm talking about. I need to record some Okami today, I forgot. But if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Adam Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.